Today I bring you Fungi from Yuggoth by H.P. Lovecraft. 1. The Book. The place was dark and dusty and half lost in the tangles of old alleys near the quays, reeking of strange things brought in from the seas, and with queer curls of fog that west winds tossed, small lozenge panes obscured by smoke and frost, just shrewd the books in piles like twisted trees, rotting from floor to roof congeries of crumbling elder lore at little cost. I entered, charmed, and from a cobble-webbed heap took up the nearest tomb and thumbed it through, trembling at curious words that seemed to keep some secret, monstrous if only one knew. Then looking for some cellar in old craft, I could find nothing but a voice that laughed. 2. Pursuit. I held the book beneath my coat at pains to hide the thing from such a sight in such a place, hurrying through the ancient harbor lanes with often turning head and nervous pace. Dull furtive windows and old tottering brick peered at me oddly as I hastened by, and thinking what they sheltered I grew sick, for a redeeming glimpse of a clean blue sky. No one had seen me take the thing, but still, a blank laugh echoed in my whirling head, and I could guess what nighted worlds of ill lurked in that volume I had coveted. The way grew strange, the walls alike and maddening, and far behind me unseen feet were padding. 3. The Key. I do not know what windings in the waste of those strange sea lanes brought me home once more, but on my porch I trembled, white with haste, to get inside and bolt the heavy door. I had the book that told the hidden way across the void and through the space-hung screens that hold undimensioned worlds at bay and keep lost aeons to their own dimensions. And last, the key was mine to those vague visions of sunset spires and twilight woods that brood dim in the gulfs beyond this earth's precisions, lurking as memories of the infinitude. The key was mine, but I sat there mumbling. The attic window shook with a faint fumbling. 4. Recognition. The day had come again when as a child I saw just once that hollow of old oaks, gray with a ground mist that enfolds and chokes the slinking shapes which madness has defiled. It was the same. An herbage rank and wild clings round an altar whose carved sign invokes the nameless one, to whom 1,000 smokes rose, aeons gone, from unclean towers uppiled. I saw the bodies spread on that dank stone, and knew those things which feasted were not men. I knew this strange grey world was not my own, but Yuggoth, past the starry voids, and then the body shrieked at me with a dead cry, and all too late I knew that it was I. 5. Homecoming. The demon said that he would take me home to the pale shadowy land I half recalled, as a high place of stair and terrace walled with marble balustrades that sky winds comb, while miles below a maze of dome on dome, and tower on a tower besides the sea lies sprawled. Once more he told me I would stand enthralled on those old heights and hear the far-off foam. All this he promised, and through sunset's gate he swept past me, past the lapping lakes of flame, and red gold thrones of gods without a name, who shriek in fear at some impending fate, then a black gulf with sea sounds in the night. Here was your home, he mocked, when you had sight. 6. The Lamp. We found the lamp inside those hollow cliffs, whose chiseled sign no priest in Thebes could read, and from whose caverns frightened hieroglyphs warned every creature of earth's breed. No more was there, just that one brazen bowl, with traces of curious oil within, fretted with some obscurely patterned scroll, and in symbols hinting vaguely of strange sin. Little the fears of 40 centuries meant to us as we bore off our splendor spoil. And when we scanned it in our dark tent, we struck a match to test the ancient oil, and it blazed, great God! But the vast shapes we saw in the mad flash had seared our lives withal. 7. Zamon's Hill. The great hill hung close over the old town, a precipice against the main street's end, green, tall, and wooded, looking darkly down upon the steeple at the highway bend. 200 years the whispers have been heard about what happened on an old mansion on the Mansion slope. Tales of an oddly mangled deer or bird, or of lost boys whose kin had ceased to hope. One day the mailman had no village there, nor were its folks or houses seen again. People came from Aylesbury to stare, yet they all told the mailman it was plain that he was mad for saying he had spied the great hill's gluttonous eyes and jaws stretched wide. 8. The Port. 10 miles from Arkham I had struck the trail that rides cliff edge over Boynton Beach, and hoped that just as sunset I could reach the crest on Lux's inmouths in the vale. Far out at sea I was a retreating sail, white as hard years of ancient winds could bleach, but evil with some portent beyond speech, so that I did not wave my hand or hail. Sails out of Innsmouth, echoing old renown of the long dead times, but now a too swift night is closing in. I have reached the height whence I was so often in a distant town. The spires and roofs are there, but look, the gloom sinks in dark lanes, as lightless as the tomb. 9. The Courtyard. It was the city I had known before, the ancient leprous town where Mongol throngs chant to strange gods and beat unhallowed gongs, in crypts beneath foul alleys near the shore. The rotting fisheye houses leered at me from where they had leaned, drunk and half animate. As edging through the filth as I passed the gate to the black courtyard where the man would be, the dark walls closed me in, and loud I cursed that ever I should come to such a den, when suddenly a score of windows burst into wild light and swarmed with dancing men, mad, soundless rebels of the dragging dead, and not a corpse had either hands or head. 10. The Pigeon Flyers. They took me slumming where the gaunt walls of brick bulge outward toward the vicious stored-up evil, and twisted faces thronging foul and thick wink messages to alien god and devil. A million fires were blazing in the streets, and from flat roofs a furtive few would fly, bedraggled birds yawning into the sky, while hidden drums droned on with measured beats. I knew those fires were brewing monstrous things, and that those birds of space had been outside. I guessed to what dark planets' crypts they plied, and what they brought from Thog beneath their wings. The others laughed till struck too mute to speak by what they glimpsed in one bird's evil beak. Well, I'm going to stop here. We're about 1/3 way through it. I'm glad you all stuck through me for these 8 minutes we've been together. Have a great day.